Hi, BookTube. This is Gina, and today is Tag Tuesday. I'm very excited to be doing my very first tag. I got tagged by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading to do the little literary tag. I've done a few other tags. I tagged myself as a BookTube newbie, but this is my first tag that somebody else tagged me on. So I'm very excited about this. This tag was created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis, another BookTube newbie. And this is a really fun tag. It's been going around the BookTube community here, and so I'm super excited to do it. Talking about tags before I jump into the questions, as a newbie, I find this really interesting. What is really odd to me about tags is that if you at someone or if you link to someone on YouTube, they don't appear to get any notification of that. So I think as a newbie, tagging other people is challenging because it seems a little presumptuous to assume that somebody who we like to watch actually watches our channel. So if a person who's got more BookTube experience can tell me that that is actually correct, that if you link to somebody or you at somebody, there's no way to get any notification other than telling them, "Hey, hi, I'm Gina. You don't know me, but I just tagged you." So I can see why people feel a little uncomfortable tagging other people. But I love doing tags. As a newbie, I think it's a really fun way to help to focus my conversation and give me some things to think about. So let's jump right into the tag. The little literary tag. Question 1. Tolkien once said that cellar door is the most beautiful expression in English. What do you think is the most beautiful word or phrase in English or any language? And right now, my most favorite phrase is sister vacation. I am desperate for a sister vacation. I have 2 sisters that I'm very close friends with, and we normally do a couple sister vacations every year. We have not been able to this year. And so my phrase is sister vacation because I'm missing my sisters and our vacation time together. Question 2. What words in English do you find most amusing? And I'm going to say words that are sort of long, like verisimilitude, which I think is just a hoot. And funny story, my work was asking for like a phrase or something that we could name a new project. And Gina, being the dork that I am, said, "How about Project Verisimilitude?" Which clearly is not a great catchphrase. Nobody knows how to pronounce it or spell it, and it's a hilarious word. So I think that's very funny. And I'm sorry I keep fiddling with my hair. I trimmed my hair last night. I cut my own hair, and it feels a little weird today. I can't blame this on the pandemic. I've been cutting my own hair for 5 years. All right, question number 3. Have you memorized any poems in full to whip out now and then to impress your friends? No, I have not. I have terrible memory. I cannot memorize anything. I guess I could. Maybe I'm more lazy than anything. But I don't have anything. I really do like the one ring to rule them all quote. And I know a little bit of that, but I'm not going to say it here, from The Lord of the Rings. Question number 4. Which book do you consider to have the best or most memorable beginning? And actually, this is question number 5. I'm going to go out of order because I skipped one accidentally. And for that one, I'm going to start with Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I think everybody's probably heard the first sentence of this book a zillion times. But look at this copy. Isn't this fantastic? You can't really see it, but it's an old paper hardback copy. The first sentence of this is, "Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. It seemed to me I stood by the iron gate leading to the drive, and for a while I could not enter, for the way was barred to me. There was a padlock and a chain upon the gate. I called in my dream to the lodge-keeper, and had no answer, and peering closer through the rusted spokes of the grate, I saw that the lodge was uninhabited." And I love that beginning. I think it's just fantastic. So that is one of my favorites. I'm going to go back to question number 4, which is, who or what do you consider to be an underrated and an underappreciated author or book? And I'm going to go for an underrated book on this one, by a very highly rated author, which is Ian Pears. Ian Pears wrote, you can sort of see it back here, An Instance of the Finger Post, which is a big, chunky, sort of historical mystery. It's fantastic. If you have not read it, I absolutely recommend it. And recently, Arcadia, which is also really, really good, was making the rounds on BookTube a little while ago. But Ian Pears also wrote this fantastic art history mystery series back in, I think, the 90s. This first one is the Rafael Affair, and I love these books. I think a lot of people don't realize that Ian Pears had written this mystery series. I'm going to reread it. I'm going to reread this one for March Mystery Madness this month. I actually had to buy this one. I've been trying to find them on my Kindle. They're not available. And I bought this one used because I knew I wanted to reread them. I've got a few others. There's The Immaculate Deception and Giotto's Hand. So they're really fun mysteries. So even though he's a very well-known author, I think these books are not very well-known and are underrated. Question number 6. Which book title best describes your life? And I have 2 for this one. My favorite being Living a Beautiful Life, which you maybe have seen before here. I absolutely love this book. I think it's so important to appreciate your daily life, to not save things to use for the best, to use things that you love. I don't really have anything in my house that if it broke, I would be devastated about. I have lots of things that I love, but I use them. They get broken sometimes. I have to replace things or I let things go. But this book is just, it's very dated now. It was written back in the 80s by Alexandra Stoddard. And it's just, she talks about get a long phone cord so that you can move around the house as you're talking on the phone, which is hilarious to read now. But I try to live a beautiful life every day. I really take this to heart. So this has been really important to me. The other one, because there's 2 here, of course, is Living, Loving, and Learning by Leo Buscaglia, who has sadly passed away, but was a professor and teacher at USC back in 70s and 80s, I think. Did a class called the Love Class, and this book is just a book of his essays. I think most of them are originally speeches that he gave about compassion and teaching and society, and just how important it is to love people and to be a compassionate person. And so I look at this cover. He was a huggy person. He hugged everybody. And so living, loving, and learning is another philosophy that I live by. I try to live by every day. Question number 7 is, what was the last book you read that led to a moistening of the eyes? And this book did not lead to a moistening of the eyes. It led to ugly, bawling, crying. It is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and it is a middle grade book. Deals with a difficult subject. But it is absolutely wonderful. I loved this book. I bawled my eyes out at the end of it. It's got a sad, devastating, but just beautifully done ending. I'm going to show you a picture because this copy that I've got is the illustrated one, and it's just beautiful. I don't know if you can really see it very well here, but black and white and dark and just very, very wonderful book. But very, very sad, but in a beautiful way. I absolutely loved this. Monster Calls. Question number 8, when it is time to shuffle off this mortal coil and go to that big library in the sky, what bookish literary quote would you like engraved on your headstone? Whew, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it? I love this question, but I just don't have an answer for it because I think, like a lot of people that I have seen answering these tag questions, I have no intention of having a headstone. I want to be cremated, and I've never really given any thought. I feel like sort of not that attached to my body once I'm gone. I have whatever makes people happy that are around me, they can do. But for me, I have no quote. I wouldn't mind being dumped in the backyard with a few of our cats. I live on property, so it's not that weird, I promise. It's not a pet cemetery. But I really just don't have a quote around that. Whatever makes the people that are left behind me feel comfort would be happy to me. And question number 9, if you wrote a book and didn't want to use your own name, what would you choose as a suitable pen name? This is a hard one too, because I hadn't really ever given it any thought, but I'd probably choose a little old lady name like Agatha Aird, which I think, I don't know why, but I have this kind of weird thing about little old ladies. I love Miss Marple. Not so much after reading The Body in the Library and seeing Steve's review of it recently. I had some new thoughts about that as well, but I really do love the little cozy village old ladies. So I'm going to go with that, Agatha Aird. And question number 10, many literary characters have a sidekick henchman. Who would you choose to be your companion on your life's adventures? And I have wonderful companions on my life's adventures. I have a few wonderful humans that I love dearly, and I have a few wonderful cats that I love dearly. But for this one, I'm going to take a little bit of a different tack, and I am going to pick a fictional character, which is Mogget in Sabriel. This is a YA fantasy, sort of adventure story. A person figures out they're sort of the chosen one, and Sabriel's sidekick is Mogget. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Mogget is a prickly white cat who talks. He's got a red collar, and Sabriel has instructions never to remove his collar. There's something deep and secret and a little sinister about Mogget, but he is a good sidekick, even though he's a little bit of a brat, possibly evil. We don't really know. The ending of this book is wonderful. What happens with Mogget and his collar is fantastic. And so I'd have to go with a little bit of a prickly but wonderful sidekick of Mogget. So that is the little literary tag. I am not going to tag anyone on this. I think most of the newbie YouTubers I've seen have already done it. Thank you so much to Mark for creating this tag. It's wonderful. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks, BookTube. Bye.